scare hollow. And I know there's no mausoleum behind me. Not yet. It's in the backyard. But today we finished a prop. I made this one a long time ago. Well, earlier this late spring, early summer, I guess. Anyways, so I modified another person's prop that they were getting rid of after I made a joke to a haunter. So backstory is Jamie Dole is a Northwest Haunters Association member, was showing us that he made some stocks, some pirate stocks or some, old time punishment stocks. And so he said he was going to get rid of them and he didn't want them anymore. So I was like, I told Keith Baldwin, hey, you know what? You should add that to your list of things that you need to do for your pirate theme. Keith runs Dark Shadows Cemetery in Kaiser, Salem, Oregon, and he's doing a pirate theme this year. So I was like, haha, you have to add that to your list of stuff to do. Well, I thought that was a pretty mean thing to say. So I decided, you know what? I think I'll just make it for him. So originally, I was just going to make them based on the plans that Jamie gave me. But then he's like, you know what, why don't you just take these and then we'll just, that's it. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. We'll do that. But the problem that he had with it was that he made it too tall. So it was too tall for kids to go in and adults didn't want to do it. So what I did was I shortened it so that adults would still be able to get into it with like a straight back and kids would be able to get into it with kind of a little bit of an arch back, but much easier for them to sit into. And we'll try Keith's neighborhood. Maybe they're more willing to get in behind the stocks. Who knows? So I do have measurements of it. I'm not going to do a how-to of how to do it, but I will show the quick ins and outs. And you're going to have to deal with the screaming of my little girl because she's in the pool with a friend in the backyard. So anyways, here it is. And so one of the things that I decided to do was most people use screws or bolts. I decided to do, see, I told you I had to deal with it, is that I used wooden dowels and I drilled holes through all the pieces of wood. There's a bunch of pieces of wood back there. And then drilled the hole through that and put that in there. Now, obviously this is spaced out a lot more, but on the back side, you can see, how close it is. So you can see how many pieces of wood it went through. And of course, yeah, they're not straight, but they wouldn't be anyways. This one is obviously smaller dowels going through instead of screws to keep this in place. And this is solid as crap. I mean, it still moves, but so would a natural one built like this anyways. There goes the paper with the measurements on it right there. And I even did, instead of bolts, I did these down there. And I just did the holes. So actually, this actually comes off to make it flat storage. You can pop these off. Either way, you can pull out the dowels with the wood, or it just comes off with the dowels there. And you can also put spikes down through these if you want to put it in the grass, or it should stand up pretty well. I've had it outside for several months, and it has not moved at all. It gets pretty windy out here. Obviously, this part right here is where you lift up. Pretty cool, huh? And yeah, he had these ropes on there. I liked those, so I left them on there. He did this part. I did this part right here. This is all that I added to it. And because what I did was I added this board in the middle here to create the base for this to sit on. So that goes through the whole thing. So you have 3 pieces of wood there. Add this to the top of it. Add that stringer there. Then make these 2 pieces. So you have your uprights. You have your legs. You have your middle piece. You got your side, your middle piece there, and then you've got your actual stocks. Obviously, this is a much bigger hole than most people's heads. You can stick your head through this without lifting it up, but it's cool. One of the cool things, let's see if it actually does it. So you put it up like this, let's see, and then it stays up too. With that, it makes it stay up. But if you do it, let's see if it does it. Well, looks like I have something to fix already. What is that on there with? Oh, just nails. Oh, okay. All right, well, now I got to fix that. Anyways, that's kind of cool. Last minute fix there. Oh, yeah, see. Staples and wood glue. So we will redo that real fast. Let's see if we can put it back in the holes temporarily. But anyways, when I first made this, it would hit here and then it would drop down inside the hole. It's super cool. So obviously don't make it like that because that broke off. It obviously worked for a long time. I would say you could use screws on this, but I would say the best way to do it, I like this idea, because you are going to have to make this thicker to sit inside here. So see how thick that is in there. You know, this piece is just not thin enough. It'll move too much in there. So if you put a couple pieces on the outside like this. So I will now tell you the, and then this I did with the wood burner. With a wood burning tool. You can also do it with a soldering iron, and I just etched in all the letters. It took forever because this wood is super thick. So I will put, okay, you know what? That's going to be kind of hard for people to, but you can kind of get the idea there. So these uprights are 4 feet tall, and they're 4 of them, obviously. The feet are 30 inches wide. So you got 30 inches wide. Obviously, you can contour them however you feel fit. This inside upright here, that piece right there, is 2 feet, so 24 inches. The middle bar is 54 inches across. That one right there is 54 across. The rack is 47 inches across. So it does not, as you can tell, it does not go all the way through. And then obviously you would have to center out where the holes are, cut your different holes with the big hole saw, or a jigsaw is going to work the best for that. And then obviously whatever kind of wood you use for this, grab a couple more pieces of it when you cut off the ends and stick them on the outside like that to make it real thick. Yeah, and like I said, these are the dowels. I would just get several different sizes. This is, because see, that's a little pin size compared to that is much bigger. So get this and this for the pins to go through, and then a thicker one for these bolts. And these bolts can go down on all of those, and then the feet as well. You basically can get like a piece of this. They come in at Home Depot. They come in like 3 foot lengths, I think. So you can get one of those. Get 1 or 2. I would say get 2 or 3 of these, or get 2 sticks of the smaller ones, and then you get 1 stick of this. Because when you pound these through, sometimes they'll break, or if you need to take it back out, the best way to do it is just to pound it down and probably just break it, and then put a new one through it again. So it's good to have some spares. And yeah, so that's. I did down here. I did screw together. You can see. Well, you can't see it because I sunk it in so far. But I did screw these together because of the stability of keeping it all in one piece. So I did use some screws, but only a few. And then obviously, if you want to add rope to that or whatever, obviously you might want to add some blood or stains to this part of the wood and that part of the wood where the hands are and the head is. And then if you want, you can always stick your favorite person in there and throw vegetables at them. So that's a quick little, I guess, a how-to on how to make this. And I got to fix that. And then we're going to deliver this to Keith probably in a week or 2. So, all right, we will get to the mausoleum now. So, hunt on. All right, so you're not going to be able to see this right away, but what this is... the Dremel, there's sunlight, so I'm trying to get, there we go. The Dremel Versatip, model 1550T2. It's a 30 watt burner. See? So we're gonna burn these letters in. As you can see, I've already done a bunch. It is, it all depends on the type of wood that you're using. This happens to be very thick outdoor deck wood. I did not purchase it. I'm sure that like a cedar board, your regular common boards would burn a lot easier. Problem is this outdoor deck wood definitely gives a nice color to this, you know. This was purchased, or I got this from another haunter, and so this has already been aged. As you can tell, there is different wood, and I'll show you how to make this thing here pretty soon. This will probably be later on in the video, so I'm saying that now, but I'm not going to do a step-by-step on this because I'm not going to do a step-by-step on it, but I have measurements. So once I'm done doing this, and see, the problem is this type of wood going down is very, very, very thick right here. And then about halfway through, see how that just glides? I mean, it almost acts like, and then it goes, there's another thick spot right here. It's like right here is a thick spot, and up here is a thick spot, kind of where these lines are going. But then in between here is a real nice, easy spot, like almost like cutting through foam. So it definitely takes a lot. So you have to go real slow, and you have to press real hard. And then you go down to this part. And it moves nicer. Going right to left on a board is much easier than going up and down, it seems, with this wood. But then you just sit on it. The good thing about the wood burning for like letters like this is you don't want it to look perfect, because back then they would have taken like a hot iron. You know, they didn't have electricity, so they wouldn't have been able to plug in their iron to it and do like what I'm doing. So they would have gotten the iron hot, they would have scribbled it in, waited another little bit, got another scribble, you know, had to keep reheating the iron, so there would have been imperfections.